Okay. Ready?
Oh. Welcome, Jay, to something new that we're going to try. Cheers. And your mug says Boss Lady.
My mug says Boss Lady. You know we're at my house. There's female-oriented mugs around. Female-oriented everything, as we can see.
Mm-hmm. But this is.
What does yours say? Wake up and make up.
That's how we all get through life.
That's it.
We're going to do a new show, we'll call it, and it's going to be a monthly breakdown of everything that's happened in the month of, in this case, May.
Like everything is in the world?
Yeah, whatever we want it to be. A little bit of a BS session.
Like we're going to discuss, like, Israeli-Palestinian conflict? I don't want to discuss that.
No, I don't think we should get into that. I think we should bypass on that one.
Okay, that's safe. Good.
We've gone from wake up and make up to the Israeli.
I'm just thinking it's the month. It happened in the month. It's a hot topic, which I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's there. Okay, we'll leave that alone.
So, I mean, we're known for real estate, so let's start on real estate.
So, are we known for real estate? I think we're known for much more.
Yeah, true. I'm sure we'll get into that. So over the last couple of weeks, market screwed. Eh?
We could start there. The market has changed, yes. The market is changing.
Market screwed, yeah.
I'm not going to use that word. You like to use the more poignant words. I like to use the more...
I'm English, so I just get to the point. You like to sugarcoat things for 5 sentences. Which, by the way, makes... Yeah, it's a North American thing. I remember seeing
Sugarcoating.
I remember seeing an interview with Kanye once.
Who?
Kanye.
Kanye, okay.
You know, Kanye West.
I'm aware of him, yes.
And he like babbles on for probably like 10 minutes. You'd love it.
It was probably all factual and all needed to be heard.
So you remember his album Heartless, where he was singing on it. Mm-hmm. He got asked by Bow Wow at the time. Bow Wow used to be Lil Bow Wow. He's not Bow Wow.
You weren't even born when he was out. Yes. That's Mika. That's great.
So, yeah. Thanks, Mika. Anyway, so he's talking for like 10 minutes because they're like, why did you want to make a singing album? And he's just like, with this and the state of the game. And he just ends it with a sentence after 10 minutes of, because I wanted to.
So you're saying he was very North American and taking 10 minutes just to say one sentence?
Yeah, you all do it a lot. It's quite infuriating.
We're just trying to help people like you, okay?
People like me?
People like you. Non-North Americans.
In this racist world? That's, you can't say that to me.
Anyway, we like to, help the cause. So anyway, where are we going?
So what's happened this month? Well, I think the biggest thing is the BC COVID plan.
Okay, yes, that's a big thing, but we'll stick to the market for now. Yes, the market has changed. The market is still changing. It's forever changing, as we all know.
Okay.
And the people of the market are, in some cases, fed up, I think we'll say.
Okay.
Buyers are taking their time a bit more now. The urgency isn't what it used to be. Rates are not really ticking up. The June 1st stress test is ticking up. So that's going to affect some people. I think a lot less than some people are hoping it will affect them. Whenever there's anything like this, everyone jumps on to say, this is the catalyst that is going to crumble the market. Wishful thinking, of course.
Yeah.
I don't think this is that catalyst, personally. But it's another one of those things that people will probably sit back and watch and wait and see if it's that catalyst before moving. So I think it'll bring a pause to the market at worst.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I keep saying it and I'm going on and repeating myself, taking a note out of your book. But honestly, I think it's seller expectation that will mess everything up, because you just got the expectations that are just ludicrous right now. People completely out to lunch. And the market can only keep going up until it can't go up anymore. And already it's been not sustainable. And so I think that constant increase is just going to... And when I say increase, I mean people's expectations in their own mind, because you know what people do, they watch the news, they talk to their friend, and Jackie knows absolutely everything about the market. Screw us realtors who are actually in it all the time. And then they start getting convinced of their own market value with just some crazy numbers, and then we start playing that fighting game, which is like, no, you're not worth this. not worth this. And then that's because the expectations are already ludicrously inflated.
I think
They slow down.
there's always a transition period where it's like, well, nothing's showing us otherwise, and we've been on this trajectory, so it doesn't not make sense based on the stats. And I feel we're in that transition period now where you may not be able to show things that like, well, no, you're now down here in market value because this, and this sold. We're not at that stage yet, but I feel that we're definitely at the stage of, well, the market is clearly telling us something due to lack of activity, lack of expected activity, lack of the activity we heard taking place last week or 2 or 3 weeks ago on similar stuff. So I think we're there.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we're in that kind of hump stage, and if we sit here for a while,
Happy
or
hump day, but
I don't
just the hump of the week. You don't want.
I don't do that. I don't play that. I don't understand what that is.
Gator don't play that.
So wherever we are in that trajectory thing is questionable, but yeah,
Okay.
I think it'll be interesting because we are there, I believe, where we've kind of passed the last market and now we're kind of turning into the new market. And of course, all the people on YouTube in the comments know where it's going. I don't know where they get their crystal balls, but I'm jealous. But
They're the gurus. They're the real gurus.
It's anyone's game right now, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the market. What else?
I think.
What other topics?
Speaking of the YouTube, I think I saw one the other day that somebody said it was going to drop 40%.
We just got
We said that we personally disagreed, and their response was, "You can't handle my comment." As if I'm reading it like, "Oh God, it's making me sick."
Someone else just commented on that comment very negatively as well towards
those are the
that
best.
person, not us, agreeing with us.
I think what people don't realize about these
Anyway.
negative comments as well is just the more you comment on it with your hate, the more our video actually gets pushed out there because of the
there's the
interaction
algorithm
and
and
like
all
the
that sort of stuff,
algorithm.
of
So you're
course.
actually doing us a favor. Or I think my most favorite ones are along the lines of, would you two stop posting videos? Would you two stop doing this? And it's like, well, don't click on us then.
Well, there's always that. When I come to YouTube, you guys are just everywhere, so
Don't
I can't
click
not.
play.
So F you. So-and-so is a tool and a fool, not a buyer, wishes he could. So there's some supportive
So-and-so-
comments along.
Speaking of Kanye, so-and-so is a tool and a fool.
Anyway. So the people on YouTube are still going. They've got their crystal balls. They've got their opinions. We thank them for that. Thank you. Because I thrive on them personally. I appreciate the positive ones, but the negative ones are what keeps me going.
They're pretty interesting.
It's hilarious. So yeah.
There's no sleep lost at night over them. Okay, so
What else?
COVID update has come into effect. What do you think that's going to do in terms of not just real estate, but in terms of people's life?
I guess we're going to be all freed. We're being allowed that we're free again. We're being told that we're allowed to be free again. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
I feel like we can get in trouble for.
It's a positive thing in the eyes of most. Well, it's in the eyes of all, of course, but it's a positive thing. And it's been an interesting ride. Hopefully this is the end of it. I remember we were doing videos here around the time, we were doing videos here on the deck, Zoom videos, because we weren't allowed to be together. First lockdown,
Because we weren't allowed to be together.
government said we weren't. First lockdown, back in March, when
Talking like
everyone
we're
thought everyone was
Romeo
happening.
and Juliet.
Trying to keep us apart.
We couldn't be together. Yeah, that was Coffee Conversations.
We should link to that. Those need a few more views. Those were good.
Good jingle.
Anyway, we're going to be allowed to be free Canadians again, which is a good thing.
Speaking of, I'm almost Canadian.
You're not even close.
I'm almost
You couldn't
Canadian.
give decades. You'll on paper.
I
by
actually
heart,
probably know more about Canada than you do now. I passed the citizenship test.
That's irrelevant.
No.
It's not necessary.
What was the last name of your first prime
I
minister?
don't know anything. Okay.
Was
The last name of our like Canada's first?
yeah.
No. It's irrelevant.
I'll give you a trip. I'll give you a clue. Golden Arches.
McDonald,
Oh yeah.
obviously. No, that's not information, unfortunately, that I need in my day-to-day life, but I'm glad you have it, and my kids will, I'm sure, get it soon enough. So everyone around me is just bringing me up, so we're going to leave it at that. Once you start describing things like we do, at length, in detail, with respect, then you'll be a little bit more Canadian.
Like we
Until
as
that
in
time.
Canadians.
Yeah.
You realize that my country gave you the English language, right?
This is where we're going to end that conversation. What else happened this month?
But no, I think touching on the COVID thing, I think everyone's just more happy to have kind of like an end date, things to look forward to.
When there's a
points to
schedule
look
like
forward
this,
to.
yes, there's points. People can start booking trips, which is my wife's favorite aspect of this whole thing.
I can get married, hopefully.
That'll be exciting. We're all looking forward to that. Finally, we don't have the timer going today.
Let's talk about your the people's foot fetish as well on you.
I don't understand it. Can
Like,
we just
no-
have one sentence?
I want to know what it's about. Like,
I don't get it. It's
we don't
gross.
get it. So, is there something
It's
particular?
weird.
Like,
I don't know if it's people we know under aliases commenting.
Just my mum
Dean.
under an alias commenting about
Raber.
feet.
Feet comments. It's. I got an Instagram one the other day, a DM about my feet in a video, and they screenshotted it. Very strange.
I remember we got that DM as well about those socks to wear, and they were like
That was a
socks.
direct email with supporting imagery
Oh yeah.
about
And it wasn't even someone selling the socks. It was someone who thought that we should
like
wear
stockings.
sexier socks. That was it.
and that was a woman. All the other ones were men that have been commenting.
And then, yeah,
so the
she had
aliases.
literally sourced a website for us to buy from, which she was nothing to do with.
It's weird. But if we could have, well, I don't know. I don't even actually. We don't need the comments and the 2 cents for it below. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
We know it's out there, and we don't need to bring any light to that. I should probably have a blanket over my feet right now, to cover them, so we don't have those sort of
I don't know.
paths.
I don't know what's so good about them. Small and compact. That's what you need. A foot that's small and compact.
That's
A real man's foot.
the only word that comes to mind, as politically incorrect as it probably is nowadays, is gibble.
I don't even know what that word means.
It's just like,
These bad boys are size 9.
that's embarrassing.
Size 8 in the UK. Gained a size coming here.
That's
Getting
why he
closer
came.
and closer.
That's why he came. One
Getting closer
inch
and closer
more
to my
respect.
like double digits.
It'll never happen. You're too far gone. All my children have feet bigger than you. That's.
You're 8.
Why is
and
your
5-year-old.
arch so high as well? People don't need to know that. Okay, what else? Vaccine passports mandatory for cruise ships coming forward.
Is that a thing?
Apparently, it's a thing. Apparently, I was sent a video.
Oh, so it
Caribbean.
must be true.
It was like the director of Caribbean Cruise Lines or something like that, and they were saying it's going to happen.
Hey Jay, check this video out.
Yeah, Morgan said it.
Interested to see what happens with the market in June, because I think that slowdown has really started to happen now, to a point that people are actually, instead of calling it early on, people are actually going to start seeing it and feeling it.
Yes, but again, had you have bought the dip at any time in the last 20 years, you would be up. So is this another buy the dip opportunity, or is this the great fall, which YouTube
Depends on who you ask and what face group.
I don't think it's the great fall. Of course, I think there's going to be sustained values at these high levels for a long time, but it's very interesting what they're doing economically at the moment in the country, following the US as usual. The stimulus, I think it's $5 billion a week our great Canadian government is printing, so that'll help with inflation, just killing all these first-time buyers.
Quantitative easing.
On top of another thing, the government saying they're helping us all so much in this stress test.
We're getting into this.
Is who is hurt the most by these stress tests?
Oh, it's first-time home buyers.
I also love how all the comments, and I'm only going public opinion, and there's only a certain segment of people, of course, that will comment on YouTube, but I'm just going to stick it to that because this is where this video is. All the comments very quickly go always to foreign buyers being the problem, That's like the problem in most people's eyes. And then the government allowing a free market, which obviously ties back to foreign buyers. But I think things like that, and that's the luxury.
Is real estate a free market, though?
Well, no, of course, it never was. But that's typically tied to the luxury market. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking at the entry level, which is still $700,000 for a one bedroom downtown, of course you can buy cheaper, but let's use that because it's very real. The first time buyer that's making, what's the average salary in Canada? 50 something? 55? Like, they're having to save for how long to get these deposits, and then the bank says, okay, things are heating up a little, let's try and get a hold on this. God forbid they raise interest rates too far, let's put on a stress test. Who is that hurting? You're keeping the bottom end out of the market. And what is, like, if the government's trying to help in all reality, they should be trying to assist the people at the bottom to get in, if that's what they want to do. And all these people, 2, 3, 4, 10 investment properties, there should be strategy against that, in my opinion, and flexibility on the entry level. And I think this whole stress test is absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
and proves yet again that the government is not on your side.
Well, the problem is it's very different. So they make plans federally, right? But obviously, if you're a first-time home buyer in Calgary, not Calgary.
We talked about that. Not every Canadian says Calgary. Only a certain segment, which we won't highlight.
It's just the absolute worst. Your entry-level home is vastly different to your entry-level home in Vancouver. So a ton of these, like, even these incentives to help first-time home buyers, a ton of it doesn't even apply to anyone who's actually wanting to live anywhere close to the city core.
Well,
so
of
it's
course,
because
the
they're
property,
worked out federally. It's just most of the time,
which is the
BC,
first mistake.
I agree, but I feel most of the time here in BC, when these new plans to help first-time home buyers come out, I feel a lot of first-time home buyers like, okay, I live in BC, I'm out, or I live in Metro Vancouver, I'm out.
Well, property transfer tax rebate is what? Sliding scale ends at 525. Useless. Again, the stress test. Add another, whatever it is, percent, 5 to something that you've got to qualify for, 25 or something like that. Useless. This is just hindering entry-level buying, which I think is not the biggest problem, but a massive problem that they're just totally kicking dirt in the face of.
Well, we'll see what it does, we'll see what it changes, but I agree with you, I don't think it's going to. I wouldn't say there's been an influx of first-time home buyers lately as well. So it's not like it's going to curb, because I mean, even the market that's been going crazy over here, houses have been going insane for the longest time. Very rarely are those houses which has like a benchmark price right now of like 1.6, I think it is. Very rarely is that a first-time home buyer. So again, to your point, like the people who are purchasing these types of properties and heating up the market are not going to be affected as much, because they're already in the market, able to buy these homes and afford it, right? Whereas a lot of these first-time home buyers, you're talking about the difference between being able to afford something versus nothing.
Yeah, but the people that are in, of course, it's people that are out trying to get in. The guy that bought his one bedroom for $300 and now it's $600, and he takes his $150 equity and he adds his $300 of gain. So now he's a $450 deposit for his 1.5 or whatever the hell he wants to buy. That's hard, but at least he's been given leverage, as opposed to the person outside who's obviously had to work for that deposit, or bank of mom and dad, as we've gone into in detail before. But I just think that the government, it would be very easy for them to look at the situation and be like, we want to help, we want to get our hands dirty here. 9 times out of 10, when they try and get their hands in, it offers a negative effect, in real estate most definitely. And we want to help. How can we actually help the entry level? Because the guy that's got all the equity, or the guy at the million range, I'd love to move, but I can't afford to. Well, tough.
That's always
so
the
hard.
age-old question.
It's still moving, so you're still applicable to any gains that the market does. But that's not the guy that needs help.
Yeah.
So I just think it's
what really doesn't help as well?
Obviously ridiculous.
Capital gains on your principal residence. That rumor's going around.
If anyone's going to do it, it's this government.
The got to make some money back.
I don't think it'll happen personally.
I hope not, because that will really toss things up in the air. That's, to be honest, that's how a lot of people focus on, or that's how people essentially build up the ladder, right?
Well, 100%.
Capital gains. You're literally cutting the legs off of people at that point. But I mean, it's not here, so I'm not going to get carried away. And
however, the one road 9 months ago or something, I saw the one road that they didn't propose. It was like a discussed but not proposed plan. How they would do it is they would implement a sliding scale of taxation on that gain, and the scale diminished as you were in the house longer. So by year 6, there was no capital gains. Mm-hmm. By year 2, it was like 50%.
Yeah, so it takes it back to, again, the long term.
So it's trying to incentivize people to be in there longer term. Now, you buy a place that's small and then you have a kid and now you're stuck. Again, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's too risky in terms of, from the political side of it, taking away what it actually does to the housing market. Who has the bottle to put that in?
Yeah, that's why I don't think.
Still expect that they're going to get the votes or whatnot, right? So you're bringing in, instead of actually helping the market and the housing market and whatnot, you're actually bringing in the political aspect of, are you going to be supported or are you going to just screw yourself?
But then again, maybe the people that aren't in vote for that because they think it's going to sink everything. Notice the people that aren't in just want it to absolutely crumble.
Well, we've had those comments before saying, I hope the
40, 50,
the selling
blah, blah,
and
blah.
the rental market completely falls apart. So we're like, okay, what do you want?
Well, they want it to
$300
sink
mortgages and $300
so they can
rent?
get in, and then of course, well, now that I'm in,
I went in all the way.
bring
It's
all
always
these
the
people
case,
back.
right? People get into it and then they're like, this kind of doesn't work for me. I'm going to change my perspective. What do they say? You get more conservative as you grow older. That's the comment. We're going to leave that alone right there, but that's what one of the sayings is.
A comment, that is a saying, yes. No, I have high hopes for the market. I have high hopes for the world. And this little rollout plan back to normal, I think,
normality
is a positive thing. Of course, cases are dropping. There's a plan to be out of this whole thing. The market is changing. The stress test is coming. That's all we can talk about. Trying to stay as politically neutral as we can,
as even as possible.
And all in all, I think it was a good month.
I turned 31. I made it.
How's it feel up there?
Beginning of the end.
I'll let you lead that path, and then I'm going to be quickly behind you. 2 years, Twin, there.
Disrespectful.
Some of us age more gracefully than others, sir.
That hairline suggests otherwise. On that note, thanks for watching, guys, and for listening. We'll see you next week.